Today is episode number 1201. Topic title for today, dealing with root issues. Guys, I'm excited about this subject, dealing with the root issues. I was thinking about this over the weekend, so I really want to talk about it. And this topic is super important because a lot of times we're dealing with surface issues. And I want to talk about dealing with root issues in your life because a lot of time, we spend our time fixing surface things. We're always fixing things on the surface. And then we wonder why our lives are not actually changing. So say things like, let me clean up my behavior. I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I'm going to start trying to be more friendly. I'm going to start trying to be more loving, more kind. I'm going to stop spending so much money, whatever the commitment is. And I know that there's some of you probably that have that problem, especially on Amazon, right? I'm going to stop using credit cards. I'm not going to manipulate people anymore. I'm not going to get so angry and upset all the time. And here's the thing, guys, it's good that we're trying to improve, but so many times we're not actually dealing with the real source of the problem. Like no matter how much we want to be better, the issue just keeps coming back. And so what happens is we have to learn to take responsibility for the thoughts that we have, the words that we speak, the attitudes that we have, and the actions that we take. And that's one of the prosperity pillars that we talk about a lot, is that you have to take personal responsibility for your life. And when you do that, that's when things begin to change. Because too many people never really look inside and get honest with themselves. They don't get down to the root problem. They're trying to improve their behavior, which is good, but many times the efforts produce temporary results because they refuse to deal with the bad root. And they wonder why they don't feel peace. They wonder why their relationships aren't working out. They wonder why they can't keep relationships with people. And heck, they don't even have any healthy relationships. Think about it. So many people out there. They wonder why their business is really not moving forward. And here's the thing, and I read this yesterday. It was actually in the Bible. It teaches that we should not let the root of bitterness spring forth in our life and contaminate our lives. And I'm going to repeat that. It's very important. We should not let a root of bitterness spring forth and contaminate our lives. So it's like having a weed out in your yard. What happens is you go out, you pull out that weed, which I did this weekend. But if you merely just clip it off at the surface, you're not really getting down to the root. It's going to come right back. A couple of days later, you look out into your yard. You have that same weed to deal with. Again, I've had to teach this to my kids. But here's the thing for lasting positive change. You've got to go deeper and not look at just what you do, but you got to ask yourself the following question. What is the root of the problem? Why do I act this way? Why am I out of control in this area? Like, why do I get so defensive? And I know that that's a problem that I dealt with in the past. And I've definitely improved that over the years. Like, why did I get so used to getting defensive all the time? Like, why do I have to repeatedly prove myself to everybody? And here's the thing, only as you get to the root and you start dealing with the source of the problem, can you realistically expect positive change? And that's when you start expecting positive change and ask yourself this as well. Like, could it be that maybe you have something buried deep inside that's causing you to be infected? It could be sin. It could be something maybe that you did in your past. It could be something that you even did at work, something that you did in a relationship, something that you did in business where you were dishonest. Is there something that's buried deep inside? Now, this is especially important in the area of relationships because many people have what's called the root of rejection. And so they've been through all these different pains in the past. Somebody did something wrong to them. What happens is rather than letting go, they hold on to it. It could be divorce. It could be a business relationship. And what happens is that bitterness poisons every part of a person's life. It affects their spirituality. It affects their ability to feel the spirit. It affects their ability to do well in their work. It affects their ability to have healthy relationships with anybody. I mean, I know some people who have a root of insecurity that causes them to become super, super defensive. Like they're always trying to prove to somebody else who they are, and they don't need to. Could it be that they have a root of pride that's causing them to withhold forgiveness? It's a good question to ask ourselves. Like maybe you've been stuck at the same place in your life for far too long. Maybe that you've been at the same rank for far too long. Maybe you're stuck in a marriage that you don't enjoy, or a dead-end career. Maybe you're stuck in debt. You got a lot of negative attitude, right? You're often hard to get along with. You become defensive. You become critical of other people. And so here's my message today. It's time to get up and get going. It's time to get up and get going. Perhaps you know that you're spinning your wheels every day. You're going around in circles year after year. Nothing's improving. Nothing's progressing. You're not really happy. And you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to ask yourself, am I relying on other people to make me happy? Like, do I have unrealistic expectations for my life? Am I only going to be happy if I get married or when the kids move out? Am I only going to be happy when my finances are where they need to be, or when I hit a certain rank, or maybe get my trading account to this or that? Am I allowing my circumstances to keep me down, or am I allowing my circumstances to control my mind when I should actually use my mind to control my circumstances? Like maybe somebody else has caused you a lot of heartache and pain. Maybe the people that, who raised you, they weren't very nice. They were unkind, or somebody with, maybe you had a relationship with, abused you. They made a poor decision, and now you're dealing with the ramifications of those decisions. Guys, I'm going to say this lovingly. Don't let that be an excuse in your life, because you can set a new standard and understand that if you want to get to the source of the problem, if you want to get to the root of the problem, you cannot just sit by and remain passive. You've got to get to the point where you say, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm willing to do something about it. Okay. One of the first things that we've got to do is we've got to stop making excuses for our life. We got to quit blaming the past. You got to stop talking about divorce. You got to stop talking about your bankruptcy in the past. That may be the reason why you struggle with the bad habits and why you have trouble within your relationships. Maybe you suffer from low self-esteem. Welcome to the club. A lot of people do. Like that may be the reason, but you don't use that as an excuse to stay where you are. So you've got to take personal responsibility for your life. Like many people have had unfair things happen to them. They go their whole lifetime allowing that experience to poison them. They're angry. They've got a chip on their shoulder. They're hard to get along with, right? Like I know that some of you guys have people like that right now in your life. You got to be willing to face the truth and say, this is not right. I refuse to live upset, and I don't want to be hard to get along with. I made that decision years ago with my wife that I want to be a joy, not a jerk. I wanted to be someone that she enjoyed being around. I don't want to be like a roommate. I wanted to be a lover, a best friend. So you got to make that decision. I don't want to be hard to get along with. God, I'm asking you to help me change. I need a miracle in my life. I've got to change in order for my situation to change. So if I have bad habits, if I have personality insecurities, if I actually have the wrong thinking, I want to be honest and open enough to deal with them. And then not make excuses nor blame my past. I'm not going to blame my parents any longer. I'm not going to blame my circumstances any longer. I sure as heck am not going to blame my spouse, because I can't change any of that, but I can change me. Some people say I'm depressed because my parents were so depressed. I'm hot-tempered because my father was hot-tempered. I'm a worrywart because my mother's always been worried. Well, guess what? You can change that. Why? Because you are a child of God. You have the greatest power in this entire universe inside of you, and you can break any addiction that you have in your life. There's no obstacle on this planet that you cannot overcome. And look, I realize that some of you have had a negative history, but understand you don't have to have a negative future unless you allow it to be so. What's important is not where you've come, but it's how far you've come. It's where you're going. It doesn't matter how many trading accounts that you've blown. It's how much money you're going to make over the next number of years. That's what you focus on. You got to get down to the root so that we don't have to go through life trying to pick off the bad fruit. Take responsibility, rise up and do something about it. I can promise you that your inner life will improve, that you will have better relationships, that you will be happier, that you will be more fulfilled in your life. And so with that, guys, I hope you have an absolutely amazing Monday. I will talk to you soon. Have a fantastic Labor Day. We'll see you on the next session. Thanks, everyone.